I think the first thing is think about what it is. I think, think about what the phenomena is as opposed to what the platforms are. That was really the key part of my message. The second thing was the need to win the battles internally, to be able to sell the concept and the potential of the concept internally before you try to go to the marketplace. And I think there is a divide within most organisations in understanding and belief between what one might call the C-suite and the people who possess a lot of the domain knowledge. Tend to be younger, tend to be not the people necessarily allocating the capital. So unless you can win that story, you're not going to get to the next step of actually working with customers. And the third step would be the need to consider the value chain implications. Where do you start? As I've said before, I'm more of a belief at the back and the middle than the front at this point in time. And overlaying all of that is the need to gain acceptance of a heuristic approach. That is not the... I saw a few puzzled looks in the face, particularly among the reinsurers, about what does that actually mean. It means trial and error. It's not part of the insurance industry's DNA. We don't like to trial and error, but it's necessary in this space. Well, I see Remark as a pupil, as a student of change. I see us as a catalyst for change, and I see us as a teacher of change. And I think we are all of those things at once. And I would expect that whatever we know at the beginning of this conference, we're going to know a lot more, and that applies for the people coming to the conference. They will know more from interacting with us, we will know more from interacting with them. Yeah, I thought the key paradigm shift in thinking is about monetisation. It's too soft, in my opinion, to just talk about this as a branding exercise, to talk about this as just a communication exercise, a messaging exercise. It's a personal belief, but it's an institutional belief at Remark. The insurance space is a commercial space. It must lead towards monetisation, not necessarily in the acquisition of new sales, although that must obviously be part of the strategy. But how do we monetise our efforts? Otherwise, I don't see you getting the necessary executive level support, and I would question the value to the commercial enterprise of doing that. There are plenty of other applications, of course, that don't involve monetisation, but the insurance industry is a commercial enterprise. It's very different, and I think that the term social, to some extent, confuses that. Well, I did touch on compliance very briefly because I do think compliance in the life insurance space is a particular challenge for the evolution of this as a business model. Regulations, generally speaking, with respect to the internet, have not been able to catch up to the development of the technology. Increasing amounts of legislation around data privacy, for example, will present very obvious challenges to things, even if we have the capability to do them. Will we be allowed to do them? But I'm an optimist. I think that eventually we always find a way to do things, but it will take time, and that's not necessarily a message people want to hear. I mean, if people have come here to hear, here is the A to Z of how to do it, I don't think that's a credible message, and I think that I believe strongly in the concept of advocacy, and advocacy requires integrity, and I think Remark as an organisation at this point in time believes that, in a sense, the development of an advocacy class is more important than the end user at this point.